Welcome to this new episode of CX Punk Chat, ladies and gentlemen. It's still good to remember you guys the philosophy of this video blog. We are talking about pure punk nature. We want to promote individual freedom and anti-establishment view in the customer experience world. The format is the usual one-to-one. It means one guest, two questions for one challenging customer management topic. Our guest today is Jeofrey Bean. Welcome, Jeofrey. And Jeofrey is joining us from San Diego, sunny California. He's a long-time expert in the field of customer experience. He's delivering customer experience training and customer experience consulting. He is also the author of several books. I remember two books in particular, The Customer Experience Revolution and The Customer Experience Rules. Both books are available on Amazon. We do a little bit of advertising, Jeofrey.
Oh, no, that's great. Thank you.
Jeofrey offers also a great customer experience course at University of California, San Diego. The course is online, so you can join all over the world, and it will start on April 14 this year. So if you are interested, go to the website of University of California, San Diego, and you can basically get the information and also apply for this customer experience, which is definitely a course offered by the university with accreditation as well, correct?
Absolutely.
So, Jeff, tell us a little bit about you and how you become passionate and then an expert in customer experience field. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've always been interested in people and academically, psychology, marketing, behavior. And then through many years of my career, I worked with small innovative companies as well as large companies like a Sprint and AT&T with the Bell Labs, and they were developing technologies. And kind of my interest is, okay, that's technology is nice, but what does it do for people? And what will people appreciate? And so in helping develop and test new technologies with people, I really develop a passion for let's understand people and what they want the products and technologies and services to do for them. So I just call it the do-fors, you know,
Yeah.
What are the do-fors? And then you have the economics of it. And so that's really a very short explanation. But for me, I get excited about a lot of things, but I get most satisfied when we help a customer or a user with the ideas of service or product or technologies. And so I do that now, focusing specifically on customer experience, which touches everything, you know, product, service, message, technology,
Sure.
process.
Sure. Cool. It also linked to, you know, the previous episode we had a couple of weeks ago where we talk about innovation. And I remember in that episode, you know, one extremely interesting video from Steve Jobs that say, you know, don't start with technology, start, you know, with the customer experience and start what really the customer wants. And then you can go back to the technology.
That's right.
So excellent. So I have the first question for you, and I'm really happy because, of course, you know, you brought me some topics, you know, in order to discuss, and you know, you know, you brought this topic of customer experience intelligence, and you know, for us at SANDSIV, we call it simply customer intelligence, but I think we are aligned on this concept and how, you know, customer experience intelligence surpass the traditional voice of the customer. So
yes.
Can you tell us about you know, your definition of customer intelligence? What do you mean exactly with customer experience intelligence?
Okay, yeah. First of all, great topic, and second of all, it really has surpassed the idea of traditional voice of customer. Okay, that real customer experience intelligence involves more than that. So from a definition standpoint, I think about the customer experience intelligence as a company's cultural and systematic combination of the company's experience, and then you have internal information and external inputs from customers, from users, which aren't always the same thing. So it's almost like a portfolio of inputs that you select very carefully. And if it's true intelligence, it's about what people's interactions are on the internet and off the internet. So it isn't just one or the other. And then you need to transform that information, whether it's numbers or words, it could be other formats, into insights to make effective decisions about customer experience interactions and strategies. So it has to go from interaction level all the way to strategic level. And then the other thing I found by working with many companies, and then we do a lot of projects, external projects at UCSD in my class, we do those for real companies. And what does it take to improve and innovate those experience interactions? Well, if you look at a portfolio of inputs for customer experience intelligence, you need a balance of what's called thick data, which is directly observed data through ethnography, or it could be through interviews. So you need a certain amount of that in there to actually help accelerate the effectiveness of all the other inputs. So you could have big data in there, you could have other types of inputs, and so now we want a thick data component in there. And then companies need to spend time to really change these into insights. And insight helps us make a better, a more effective decision about the interaction or the strategy or the process or technology that people are interacting with. So that's kind of, you know, what we've learned is most effective. And I think it's up to people like you and I to really help explain it to people who are close to it, but also who aren't as close to it, that this is real intelligence coming in, and there needs to be care in making insights. And then, of course, you make decisions based on the insights, and they need to be effective. And the goal, of course, is to improve and innovate the customer experience interactions so that you can get all the benefits of being a customer experience leader. That's kind of what I think about.
Yeah, and I really like it, because basically, you know, when I started my venture back 10 years ago, that was my vision. I said, I want to create what I call the voice of the customer hub, where all the data comes in, not just data of, direct voice of the customer or indirect voice of the customer, but also systems data, in a way that then you can create correlation and understand certain events and why they go in one direction or the other direction. I think this is really cool, and I think this is basically what we need, also in customer experience at this moment, because just running surveys is not enough anymore, and it doesn't prove any return of investment. So it's definitely the time where we need to build this customer intelligence that is really complementary to the business intelligence. So to have a 360 degrees of the business, you need business intelligence, but you need also customer intelligence at the same time. And I think this is fundamental. Cool. Then, Jeff, you brought another I call it definition or topic that is it captured my attention, and is this real time for leaders. It looks me that this is the explanation why we need this customer intelligence together with the business intelligence. What do you mean exactly with real time for leaders?
Well, you know, I get this question a lot is, okay, if we have to have inputs and we have to have data coming in, or we have to interview customers, or we have to find out what the sentiment means with the customer's words, you know, whatever the portfolio is, people have asked me, well, how often do we have to do that? And I say, well, you know, of all the best customer experience companies that I've had interviews with the great people at companies, you know, like a Netflix or a ServiceNow, or there's many of these, and many startups that we'll hear about in the near future. Their success is built on real-time intelligence. So how often do you want to look out of the automobile windshield of your car when you're driving it? I let them know. Now, there's some markets that, okay, maybe you do this 4 times a year. Maybe you do interviews 3 or 4 times a year, but then there's other markets where I need a constant stream of big data and sales data and internal data and word interpretation with some ethnography, where I have to observe customers to understand the difference between what they say and what they do. And so if you want to be a leader in customer experience, and probably in other areas of business too, is the answer is real time. It has to be coming in constantly and in real time. And then in interviewing some people for the 3rd book we're working on, one thing that people say is, and our time to insight, if we can shorten our time from getting the data to the time we have insights, and then turn that into improvement and innovation in the customer experience, that is going to be our competitive advantage.
Definitely. Fantastic, fantastic. You mentioned a 3rd book. So, Jeff, you have to promise something, that when you will have this new 3rd book, you will come again, you know, in this video blog, and we can basically present your book to the audience. Would be really, really, really nice, because you have really, you know, very punk and strong arguments in the customer experience world.
Well, no, I would, thank you. No, I would love that. It's a constant learning. You know, we're learning. We learn from each other. You know?
Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was Jeff Bean from San Diego, California. I think it was an excellent discussion. I love this discussion. I think we will see Jeff soon in the future, because he's a really punk 6 element, and we want him again at this video blog. See you next time, and thanks a lot. Thanks, Jeff. It was a big pleasure from
Federico. Thank you for having me on, and punk it is.
Yeah, thanks.